Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a really gripping story of rebellion and rescue set in the grim, oppressive land of Barovia. And this isn't just a tale about heroes. It's a minute-by-minute breakdown of how a desperate plan can just completely unravel into chaos.
So, picture this. In the town square of Vallaki, two prisoners are standing on a brand new gallows. Their fate has just been sealed by the town's new, iron-fisted leader, the burgomistress Wachter. She's yelling this out to a crowd of just silent, miserable peasants. This whole thing is supposed to be a show of force, a way to restore order. But it's about to become a battlefield.
To really understand the violence that's about to explode, we've got to rewind just a few hours. We're going back to a desperate plan that was hatched in the last safe place in town, where a new and, let's be honest, very uneasy alliance was being formed.
Okay, let's get into it. Our story really kicks off at the Blue Water Inn. A couple of adventurers, Radley and Traxador, have been captured. And their friends? They're scrambling, trying to figure out any way, literally any way, to get them back.
The whole rescue mission falls to two pretty unlikely allies. On one side, you've got Dairman. He's a guy who just stumbled into this nightmare land, and he's become fiercely loyal to the new friends he's made. And on the other side, that's Urahorn, a seasoned mistwalker. He's one of the few who can navigate the cursed mists that trap everyone else here. He's driven by his own mission of revenge against the land's vampiric ruler, Strahd. So yeah, totally different paths, but they have one immediate goal: save their friends.
So their first move is to try and get some intel. Urahorn knows only one potential ally in this whole cursed land: the legendary monster hunter, Rudolf van Richten, who happens to be hiding out in Vallaki under a magical disguise. You'd think, a guy with his experience, he's gotta know where they keep prisoners, right?
But nope, it's a total dead end. Van Richten is completely focused on his own quest for revenge. He knows absolutely nothing about how Vallaki works and offers zero help. It's a huge disappointment, and it sends Urahorn right back to square one.
And this is where they learn the grim truth from the innkeeper, Danica. There is no prison. Vallaki doesn't hold people for long. If you commit a serious crime, you get a public spectacle, a sham trial, followed immediately by an execution. So their friends aren't just captured, they're on death row, and the clock is ticking, fast. With the stakes that high and a public execution on the horizon, the heroes know they need every single advantage they can get. And that means Urahorn has to break the town's super strict curfew to go get their one secret weapon. So Urahorn, he moves like a ghost through the dark streets. He waits for a lone guard to pass, then scales the town wall and lets out this low whistle. A moment later, this massive shadow just detaches itself from the woods. It's his panther companion, and it silently climbs the palisade to join him.
And in a detail that just perfectly captures how grim this place is, the panther doesn't show up empty-handed. Oh no. It brings a gift, a severed human forearm, probably from a victim of a recent vampire attack. Urahorn actually has to wrestle this macabre trophy away from his growling companion before they can sneak back to the inn. All right, let's fast forward to noon the next day, right at the gallows, and see how this desperate plan just explodes into unpredictable violence. The heroes have scouted the area, and they are ready to spring their trap.
So as noon hits, everyone is in position. Dairman's hiding in some ruins, Urahorn and his panther are perched up on a rooftop, and on the gallows, their friends are completely helpless. Traxador looks like he's been drugged, totally unresponsive, and Radley is blinded by a locked iron mask. Facing them is the burgomistress with her whole crew.
The ambush kicks off with a volley of arrows, and the square is instantly thrown into chaos. But that initial advantage? It just vanishes in seconds, as the whole situation escalates with some shocking transformations and a really brutal counterattack.
Just as the fight starts, the heroes get some completely unexpected backup. The innkeepers, Erwin and Danica Mardukov, suddenly morph from simple ravens into these humanoid bird creatures, were-ravens, and they just throw themselves into the fight, attacking the guards on the gallows. They are clearly not what they seemed.
But the hero's main target, the burgomistress, she is far from helpless. She immediately throws up this shimmering magical shield that seems to deflect any attack aimed at her. Her wardens start unleashing dark, necromantic spells, and whenever her guards get hurt, she just heals them. A quick victory is completely impossible. Now, the rescuers are skilled, for sure, but they are just outmatched and outnumbered. Radley, still blinded, is trying to headbutt guards, but it's not really working.
Dairmon gets struck down by a powerful spell. The relentless assault from the guards and the wardens just wears them down, and in rapid succession, both Radley and Dairmon fall unconscious. The rescue is failing, badly.
With 2 of their own down and the battle completely lost, the allies that are still standing have to make a terrible choice: save who they can or die right there with them.
In a moment of just sheer desperation, the were-ravens abandon the fight. They grab the unconscious bodies of Dairmon and Radley, throw them on their shoulders, and, despite taking multiple spear wounds, they fight their way to the prisoner's cart. Urihorn and his panther leap down to follow as the wagon just tears out of the square, leaving the guards in the dust.
But in the chaos of the retreat, one person is forgotten. Traxador, still dazed and drugged, is left standing on the gallows, all alone, to face the full, uninterrupted wrath of the burgomistress. That is the terrible cost of their survival.
The fleeing wagon eventually stops at an abandoned house. The unconscious heroes are dragged into a rough cellar by Danica, and because she's a were-raven, her gruesome injuries are already healing at this unnatural rate. Before she leaves, she gives them one final, stark warning. She tells them to stay put until the coast is clear, and then she seals them in, hiding the cellar entrance under piles of junk, before turning back into a raven and flying away.
And that's where we leave them, hidden, wounded, and having paid an unthinkable price for a failed rescue. They survived, sure, but now they're fugitives in a town controlled by the very people they just attacked. And one of their friends is still in enemy hands. The question is, what now?